In a month that celebrates Black history through contributions to science, culture, and our greater history, we celebrate the talented individuals who are a vital part of the success of the legendary Chrysler 300.
My name is Ralph Giles. I'm Chief Design Officer for Stellantis North America. So one of the most humbling moments about being part of this 300 project was the Time magazine article, right? So this came out, was a double-page spread, and they had on the title, The Bling King. Like I was on a cover of Black Enterprise and other incredible publications. I could not believe as a young designer being sought after for these moments. I was on, why are they wanting to interview me? And what it struck me later on realizing, they get it, right? They understand the odds here. That had an incredible effect on my life. Where I got to speak at universities, got to speak at schools, inspiring young people. I can't tell you how many times I told my story. Well, you make a team, you make a brotherhood, you make friendships through what you're working on, and you campaign the vision, right? You say, this is where we're gonna go.
I actually just hit my 30-year anniversary last month. For me in particular, with it being Black History Month, and what Black History Month was founded on is the celebration of the success of Blacks in America. And you think of the success of this vehicle and a Black man being behind the design of that vehicle and what has come because of that and the respect that he's gained in the industry, which has created an opportunity for other people to aspire and follow him in what he's done. And for those that have touched the vehicle like myself to also find love in the industry and success in the industry. I was in exterior trim purchasing at the time, and I was responsible for the exterior trim of the vehicle and the door modules. It got pretty exciting, and working on the exterior trim side of it, the suppliers were excited. So when the whole thing came together, it was just phenomenal, just a phenomenal work of art.
I've been with Stellantis for about 30 plus years. My relatives worked for the company, and they worked on the line. And one thing that was very touching for me is that they provided a way for me to move forward with my education, to have them open doors so that I could be able to pay it forward. That was the joy that I experienced. The 300, we knew what was gonna have to go into it from an electrical perspective. We needed to be able to make that connection technically. So as they were completing doing that, we were busy trying to make sure that everything was going to work, but not only work, but it was gonna be reliable. So when Ralph is a part of it, it's the styling that people are gonna be talking about. The front of the vehicle, the grille, when you open the car up, and then you got into all of the bells and whistles and the features. I always take a look at who's driving, to see how their experience is, right? And the one synergy between all of those drivers that I see is that pride.
So there was this idea to create a big V8 powered American sedan, something that would really vault Chrysler kind of back to the top of the discussion about American sedans. It was chrome, it was large grills, it was lots of presence, stance, a sense of accomplishment through design. The car says a lot about the owner. We wanted to do an about face and reestablish how cool an American car can be. But we could see around the corner. Pop culture is something you can create. I really do believe we're tastemakers. So this car did absolutely resonate with the Black community. There's no two ways about it. Even I remember seeing it on the American Music Awards, and that was just organic. Dr. Dre brought it on stage. They had already put scissor doors on it. The car was out barely a few weeks, and they already had it modified. And at the time, we knew that would happen, but not to that level.
Yes, when I first started working on the Chrysler 300, I was actually a U-Connect quality engineer. The sound in the 300 is important because everybody has a soundtrack. When you pop the trunk on a Chrysler 300 and you saw that Beats logo in the trunk, you knew it was serious. You open up the car door in the 300, you see that Beats logo, you knew it was serious. So for sure, we had to make sure that it was going to be dialed in. The amount of changes that we went through on the software upgrades, I was the design release engineer, And so that meant another software release. I think the 300 is important to the Black community because it was aspirational to be able to have an affordable vehicle that was still very stylish, that you were proud to roll up and down the block with. That was very important. It looked good, it sounded good, and it was to be respected.
It will be 12 years in May. I supported the powertrains and the engines for most of our V6 and V8 vehicles. That vehicle, it stands in a class by its own. But when you put that 6.4 into it, it takes it up a notch. It takes it to another level. So it had to have an attitude. It had to have a sound. It had to have a statement all its own. And I think that vehicle by itself, just the way that it was designed and the things that we put into its brand DNA, that it helped that. I think that it resonates with Detroiters. For everyone, it means something individual. It can be customized to each person's personality and each person's environment. Well, I think it's important to tell these stories because we have to be the arbiters of our own legacies and of our own history. So I think it's important for us to focus on, where we've contributed and how we've contributed, to tell, where these contributions have come from and how they have informed the DNA of our products.
It's a car that could take on the greats, take on those storied Autobahn cruisers, or it could look good. I've actually seen them in Monaco. I was parked in front of the hotel in Monaco, to LA, to New York, to Chicago, to Detroit. So that's the coolest thing. It just seems to fit everywhere you go. Literally, me and the team behind the vehicle are in awe of what's happened. It's become an international thing. People call it by its own. It's almost like a sub-brand of the Chrysler brand in a way. And that doesn't happen very often. I think the word iconic gets thrown around a lot, but sometimes, like that special collection of intent, gumption, daringness, risk-taking, and all that comes together and creates something more special than yourself.